Welcome back, everyone. I hope you had a good break. Um, Directed at all of you, including my students, it's always good for us to be part of something bigger. And the CPCU Society helps us understand and connect to a group of professionals and a body of knowledge that's much bigger than ourselves. It's my pleasure to help you connect by introducing the incoming president, president-elect of the CPCU Society, Tracy Adedeji.
Good afternoon. I want to first of all thank you so much for inviting me to be with you this afternoon. I often think, and I appreciate you saying, the idea of being a part of something that's bigger than yourself, because I think that if that's a guiding principle that we all use, it is something that will add to the flavor of life, I guess I want to say. When you're doing something with purpose and you're doing something that's a part of something that's bigger, you just get a greater degree of satisfaction. So it's absolutely my pleasure to be here today to, first of all, confer the CPCU designation upon your new designees, but then to share some society updates with you. Now, I was not provided with a name, with a list of names. So I was not sure how you wanted to do that. Have you already shared the names of the new designees or?
We have.
Okay, awesome. All right, so whenever I do this and let me also apologize for my voice. I'm on the tail end of COVID. So today is probably one of the better days that I've had this week. So we're going to pretend that we're all in person, and I'm going to ask all of the new designees to virtually stand up to be recognized. And now, acting by the authority of the Board of Trustees of the Institutes, I hereby confer upon each of you the professional designation of CPCU and present you with a virtual replica of the honored CPCU diploma. This diploma entitles you to all the rights and privileges of the CPCU designation. The CPCU designation is protected by force of law throughout the United States and has been conferred by the Institute since 1943 on those who have met its education, experience, and ethics requirements. So I now invite all CPCUs who are with us today to virtually stand up and join our new designees in publicly affirming our professional commitment to technical competence and ethical behavior. So if we could all raise our right hand and repeat after me. As a CPCU, I shall strive at all times to live by the highest standards of professional conduct. I shall strive to ascertain and understand the needs of others and to place their interests above my own. And I shall strive to maintain and uphold a standard of honor and integrity that will reflect credit on my profession and on the CPCU designation. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's congratulate this year's new CPCU designees. All right, awesome. So with that, I'm going to share some society updates with you. There will be some time at the end for some questions. I'm pretty much an open book. So anything that you ever wanted to know about the CPCU Society and how you can get everything that you need out of it, I'm certainly here to share that with you. If I don't know the answers to something, then I can certainly find out and get back to you. So the first thing I want to do is share with you who we are. The CPCU Society is an association of over 15,000 members globally. And that's something that I had to condition myself to say because I was so accustomed to referring to us, national instead of local, but we are a global organization. So I want everybody to make a commitment to referring to the society as a global organization. We're made up of over 120 chapters with 8 special interest groups. What do? Well, there's 3 things we do. We learn through events like the one you're attending today. We attend the events that are sponsored by the society, like Into Risk and Into Leadership. We attend webinars. As a CPCU, you want to stay actively engaged, and you want to make sure that you keep on top of your CE for CPCU credits. Pro hack that I'll give you for doing that is I often get the emails about webinars and think it's something that's of interest to me, and I'll go ahead and register for it. Well, life happens because we're busy making insurance magic happen every day. If I can't attend the webinar, I'll get access to the recording. So, if I've got a wild hair at 2 o'clock in the morning and I want to get up with a glass of hot chocolate and watch a webinar, I can do that. And that builds up my CE for CPCU credits. We lead through being thought leaders, but we also lead through mentorship. The CPCU Society does have a formal mentor program. I have the privilege of being both a mentor and a mentee in that program. Particularly to the new designees, I would encourage you to participate in that program as both a mentor and as a mentee. I think oftentimes people think that if they are new to the designation, new to the industry, that they don't have anything to offer. But the reality is that you've just completed your CPCU journey. So there's folks coming up behind you that can benefit from your expertise and your tips and your encouragement as they navigate their CPCU journey. The other thing I would say is that getting engaged on Interact, which is like the CPCU Facebook, is also a great way to get your face out there, get your thoughts out there, connect with other people, because a lot of times you're mentoring people that you don't even know because they're observing your skill set, your knowledge, and the way you engage with others. And the other thing we do is have fun. Like I mentioned, we're just coming off of Into Risk in DC 2 weeks ago. So I'm not sure how many of you were there. Hopefully, as new designees, a lot of you were there. But really amazing, fun time. I think there's something very special when you sit down and break bread with people. That adds a little something extra to the relationship. On a local level, I live in Rhode Island. I know that we do lots of fun things here in Rhode Island to encourage those connections that we have with each other, and to really let people know that insurance people know how to have fun too. So I'm going to share with you the 4 pillars of our 2022 to 2024 strategic plan. So it's the plan that we're operating under right now. An interesting fun fact is that when I first joined the Leadership Council in 2021, one of the first tasks or first activities I participated in was to craft the current strategic plan. So it's almost a little fortuitous that I should be president next year, because next year we'll be drafting the strategic plan for 2025 to 2027. So the 4 pillars of that strategic plan, the one we're operating under now, are that we want to be the premier community of risk management professionals and insurance thought leaders. So if you think about the membership expansion that we initiated to open the door to people who don't have the CPCU designation to become members, and to open the door to academic people who teach in the insurance industry, that's really part of that goal, right? We recognize that as a society, we have much to offer to the entire industry, not just to people who have the CPCU designation. The next pillar is to be recognized as a personal and professional investment that positively impacts successful outcomes. The fact that you new designees have made the sacrifice of taking the time to pursue and achieve your designation shows that you understand the value in attaining that designation and hopefully engaging with the society and getting all that you can out of that professionally and personally. The third is that we want to be a vibrant and inclusive global community. When we were in DC, I had the pleasure of meeting some of our members from Ghana. There were some members from India. So it's really important as the world evolves and we become a more global society, and the businesses that we ensure are multinational businesses, that we embrace the entire world, and that we really, I wouldn't say DE&I, which is, we always talk about DE&I, but the reality is that the more diverse our community is and the more open we are to different ideas and that diversity of thought, the better we all are for it. So you will see through the work of the interest groups, through the work of the local chapters, there absolutely is a focus on the fact that we are a global community and there is room for everyone to be successful within the society. And the fourth is a commitment to social responsibility, sustainability, and resilience. And I think that pretty much speaks for itself. I am a 2017 designee, and every conferment and interest that I've gone to, there's been some good works project. Kind of tagging back to what David was saying earlier about, focusing on being a part of something that's bigger than who you are. As a society, we absolutely are focused on giving back to the community, because that's what we do as insurance professionals. We serve the community. I want to share some membership numbers with you. I was really excited in DC to find out that we are 100% to goal for our 2023 membership goals. That is broken down as 100% for that's primarily in your CPCU professional and pathways members. So your CPCU professional would be people who have the designation. Your pathways members would be your members who do not have the designation. We're 84% to goal on post-career or our retirees, 91% to goal for students and Gamma Iota Sigma members, and 39% to goal on academic. So the goal in total members was 14,979, and we actually were, as of 2 weeks ago, at 15,209. So that's something to absolutely celebrate and be proud of. There's a slide that I can send to you if you're interested in seeing it, but if you go to the Institute's website, it may be on the Society's website as well, you can see a list of the 18 organizations that are affiliates of the Institutes. So we talk about that global society and global community. Global can take on the meaning of different disciplines and different needs within our industry. So when you look at organizations like CEU for continuing education, the Griffith Foundation, which is a philanthropic arm, CLM and the others, if you are of a discipline where you're looking for more specialized information, you can leverage the Institute's relationship with these affiliates to get other information, but also to expand your network. So what I want to encourage everyone to do, we're targeting our new designees, but I want to really focus on everybody now, is to get involved and have that two-way dynamic where you're getting what you need out of the society to advance your career and to grow professionally, but you are also giving of your talents and your expertise. One of the things that I talked about when I was installed in DC was the idea of everyone having a superpower. And I believe that with my whole heart. You could be an excellent, commercial construction underwriter, right? But your skill set, your experience, your knowledge is going to make you unique in that the way you approach that isn't going to be like anybody else does. There are so many people in our community that are amazingly talented, have an amazing amount of knowledge that they can share. So that selflessness of sharing all that good stuff about yourself benefits the society as a whole. But if you engage, you get lots of things that look really nice on your resume. The little story that I want to tell you is that about 2 years ago, I submitted a proposal for InterRisk, and I wanted to do a presentation on assigned risk auto, residual market auto. Well, it didn't get accepted for a presentation at InterRisk, but they asked me if I would write an article. And I agreed to do it. But again, life happens, making insurance magic happen. The article didn't get written. Well, they came to me, the Insights Committee, and said, well, listen, if we could get you some help, would you be willing to write the article? So I had an outline, and I had written maybe a paragraph or two, but I really just had the outline. They paired me with someone else. That person was able to do more of the heavy lifting to write the actual article from my outline, and it's going to be published in Insights in December with the two of us co-authoring it. So if you've got a burning desire to be a published author, here's your chance to do that. Not only does it increase your profile, but it increases the profile of your of the company that you work for, and it's something that you absolutely would want to share with your employer. If you don't want to write, but you've got a great idea, you could propose a webinar, either sponsored by your chapter, sponsored by one of the committees or interest groups. They are always looking for informational webinars. Another way for you to get your name out there, get some exposure, share your knowledge, and add another skill set. If you are someone who in your professional that pays you life want to do webinars and podcasts and things of that nature, doing a webinar for society is an excellent way for you to try it out to see how it fits. And then, of course, submitting proposals for InterRisk. This year, we were really pleased to have the problem of too many submissions. So it's an excellent problem to have, lots of good content. But if you have a great idea or a novel perspective on some concept, I really encourage you to submit a proposal for InterRisk. All of these things add to leadership development. One of the things I often talk about is the idea that from a technical perspective, you can pretty much teach insurance to anyone. I've been in the industry for over 30 years. So, the ego in me might say that, well, no, my experience, and, I get that. But, with the way it's evolving with, the technology, you can take an intelligent person and you can make them a proficient technical underwriter, claims handler, or whatever discipline it is that they have, right? The leadership skill, the ability to collaborate well with others, the ability to influence change, the ability to build consensus. That's something that not everybody has. And that's something that no matter how much AI automates things, we're still going to need people who have those skills. So particularly to our new designees, engaging with your local chapter on a committee or perhaps on the board, getting involved with our interest groups and committees to do the work of society is an excellent way for you to hone and refine your leadership skills. With over 15,000 members, we probably got over 15,000 personalities and mindsets represented in the society. So engaging at that level is going to allow you to really flex your leadership muscles and just learn how to navigate or get comfortable navigating in different types of situations with different types of people. I already talked about Interact, our CPCU Facebook. There are some people who do not sign up for Interact because the notifications get crazy, right? We already get enough emails. We don't want 1,000 emails a day with all the notifications, but there is a way that you can go into Interact and change the settings. I have it set so that I get a daily digest, but you could have a weekly digest or you could have no digest at all. So you can absolutely change those settings to whatever your preference is. So three more points is to spread the good news, right? If you've benefited from engagement with the society and you've benefited from attaining your CPCU, tell a friend. I'm probably aging myself by saying this, but there used to be this commercial that came on TV. It was, I think it was a shampoo commercial. And, they had a lady with beautiful hair, and they said, she'll tell a friend and they'll tell two friends, and so on and so on. And you see little boxes, multiply. Well, it's the same concept. If CPCU Society's been good to you, share the news. There are a lot of people out there who don't realize that you don't have to have a CPCU to join the society. You don't even have to want to get a CPCU. However, as a CPCU, whenever I meet someone in the industry who is not a CPCU, I always add "yet" at the back of that, because I think everyone should be a CPCU. Share about the membership categories. Students who are full-time students at college or university, regardless what they are studying, can join the society for free. What the good thing about that is that, if we can get them and get them to some events, we'll let them see how amazing this industry is, and perhaps they will consider a career in our industry. But even if they don't, those students still get the benefit of the leadership training that we offer. So if you mentor any college students, that is an awesome benefit that you can offer to them by suggesting that they join the society. And then you can have them join the mentor program, and you join as a mentor, and now you formalize that mentorship relationship through the society. If someone is interested in obtaining their CPCU, joining as a Pathways member is a no-brainer financially, because as a Pathways member, you get access to 4 facilitated study groups at no additional charge. Those study groups are for the 4 core courses: 500, 520, 530, and 540. I still shiver a little when I say 540, because when I took it, I thought I was going to die when I took it, but managed to pass it, obviously. But if you think about the idea that if you took a class externally, it probably would cost you $150, $200 for that class. Well, $800 for 2 classes, you pay the $200 one time, and now you're getting an additional $800 in value. So I was a little mind blown when I realized that. The next to last point I want to share with you is employer support. For many reasons, everyone is tightening their belts, and we are seeing some waning in employer support. For some of us, attaining our designation, attending InterRisk, engaging with the society, we can only do if our employer will pay for it, right? So that kind of ties a little bit back to that strategic plan pillar of wanting to be recognized as a personal investment. Ideally, we would want people to feel that even if my employer does not pay for it, I see the value in this and I'll pay for it myself. The reality, though, is that if you can make the case to your employer that your engagement benefits the organization, and you do this by attending InterRisk and InterLeadership and sharing what you learned there, writing articles for Insights or doing webinars and highlighting your employer when you do that, attending webinars and sharing that information with your colleagues. But on the CPCU Society's website, there are resources that you can use as an individual to go to your employer and ask for their support of you engaging with the society. Or if you want your employer to be involved at a greater level, maybe as a sponsor, there are some organizations I know here in Rhode Island, Amica Mutual Insurance Company, I used to work for them. They are very big on CPCU. They are very coordinated in the way they manage putting their folks through the Institute's programs. And by doing that, they're able to get a discount on the materials. So that information is there on the website for you. And then the final piece of information that I'll share with you is that we've got 3 big events coming up in 2024, and I hope to see all of you there. The first will be InterLeadership, that will take place March 19th and 20th in Phoenix. We used to, with InterLeadership, focus on leadership skills and information for volunteer leaders. In the past couple of years, we've changed it, and we've partnered with Arizona State University to deliver more general leadership training, and it's really been phenomenal training. But the feedback we'd received is that people really miss the opportunity to have that volunteer training, particularly our chapter leaders. So if you do attend Into Leadership, you will see volunteer leader training. And even if you are not now or not yet a volunteer leader, it's an opportunity for you to get some insight into the inner workings of what it is to be involved in a chapter board or an interest group or committee. The next event would be our Reinsurance and Excess and Surplus Lines Symposium, April 8th through 11th, and that is a virtual event. And the final event would be InterRisk, November 7th through 9th, back in Orlando at Disney World. We had an amazing time the last time we were in Orlando, so I'm looking forward to a fantastic time in 2024. So that's all I've got for you. I hope it didn't go too fast. If anyone has any questions, I'm certainly happy to answer them for you.
Tracy, there's obviously a lot going on at the society, and we certainly appreciate you taking this role on. If you don't mind me asking just for a moment or so, tell us about your journey into the insurance industry and into this role. We're importing you from New England, so we might as well enjoy hearing your story.
Absolutely. So I got my designation on the 25-year plan. I actually started in the insurance industry in 1984. I lived in New Jersey, and I was a single mom with 2 little kids I had to feed, and I needed a job. So I got a job as a file clerk at an insurance agency, and they quickly discovered that I could do a little bit more than put things into alphabetical order. So I moved into customer service at an agency. In 1990, I moved to the carrier side of the industry, and I worked for a company called the Atlantic Mutual Companies. They're no longer in business, but they were very high on CPCU. That was something they definitely advocated for. So in 1992, I took my very first CPCU class. It was led by one of our vice presidents. And I just, it was at the time, it was CPCU 6. So it was one of those blue book essays. So you have to hand cramp writing them, and you had to wait weeks to get your results. But I just fell in love with the learning of insurance as someone who was relatively new to the industry. I did take a brief break from the industry, and I can't remember how many exams I'd taken with the blue books. But when I came back to the industry in 2007, I decided to, 2007, I left the industry, came back into the industry in 2014. By that time, I was living in Rochester, New York, and I was working second shift at the company I worked for. So it was, I didn't have anything else to do with my time. Kids grown out of the house. I want to finish my designation. So I was, knocking them out 2 at a time, because now it was, although it was 8 exams, I still had several to finish, and I was trying to get to Hawaii. That's what my goal was. As it happened, because I had left the industry, I missed the experience requirement by like 3 months, so I didn't get to go to Hawaii. But so what happened was my company relocated me from Rochester, New York to Lincoln, Rhode Island, which was the headquarters. And I didn't know anyone. So I felt that getting involved with the society would be a good way for me to meet some people, make some friends, and do something constructive with my time. So in December of 2016, I went to a holiday event of the Rhode Island CPCU Society, and I had sent an email offering to volunteer, and I thought I'd be stuffing envelopes or something like that. But I was asked to serve on the board of that chapter. I served as public relations director for 2 years. I then moved up to be vice president, president-elect, and then president of the chapter. But I also in that time served on the D&I, which is now the IDEA committee at the global level. So got to meet people knew who I was. So out of the blue in 2020, I get a call from Sharon Coaches, who was the incoming president, asking me if I was interested in serving on the Leadership Council. I agreed to do it. I was asked to sit on the executive committee, and in 2020, in 2022, I think it was at InterRisk, and actually, I'm sorry, it was in at Into Leadership, and people just kept saying, you should really throw your hat in the ring for society president. You should really throw your hat in the ring. I'm someone who had looked at the quality of the people who were in leadership roles with the society, and did that thing that we sometimes do to ourselves and felt, well, I don't have these credentials that they have, or I'm not a Mike Caselli, I'm not a Tom Woods, and just limit myself, right? But I said to myself, well, here's the thing: if people that I admire think enough of me to think that I can do this, then I should give it a go. And what's the worst thing that can happen? They'll tell me no, and I'm no worse off than I was. So I went through my interview, and when Meredith Mangan called me to tell me that I had been nominated as president-elect, I shed actual tears. But so that's how I ended up where I am. As an insurance professional, my expertise is in personal lines underwriting. I know I'm at my time, so I won't tell you that story, but personal lines underwriting, just went through the motions. Every job I've ever taken has been a promotion, teaching me something different, exposure to something different in the industry. And right now I'm a vice president at an insurance brokerage called JP West.
Well, Tracy, again, thanks for your leadership and the role that you're taking on. It's a benefit to all of us. And as I mentioned at the top of your remarks, it brings us all into something bigger than ourselves, and we all benefit from that connection. And so,
Absolutely.
thanks again, and I hope you have a successful year as president.
Thank you. And if I may say one more thing, my ask is that everybody on this call, if you are not already connected with me on LinkedIn, please connect with me. If there is ever anything that I can do to support you and your goals professionally at your job, at your chapter, or if you're interested in getting involved at the global level, I certainly am happy to do that. So I really appreciate the invitation to be with you today, and please enjoy the rest of your program.
Excellent. Thanks again, Tracy. We will resume our conference at 1 p.m. with CEO Glenn Pomeroy of the California Earthquake Authority.